This is my 73 Charger. In case you didn't know, it still doesn't run. But I'm hoping at the end of this video, it will, or it'll be pretty dang close to driving out of this garage. So like I said, this is my 73 Charger. And yes, it doesn't run. But we are getting a lot closer. As you can see, it's up on jack stands, it's up on ramps. In case you didn't know, cars suck to work on underneath if you don't have a lift and if they're not up off the ground. And even on the ramps and stands, it still sucks. Up here, we have a miscellaneous variety of parts. We have ARP hardware for valve covers, headers. We have some carb gasket stuff. We have a new alternator. We have new center caps for the wheels. We have ignition system stuff, fuel system stuff. We have some air shocks for the back, header gaskets. We also have a trunk full of parts that still haven't found their way into this thing, but we are getting very, very close. We also have a mile-long list up there that we're slowly checking things off, but it is all very doable, and I am going to start thrashing on this car. I need to get this thing to drive. I have been itching. Every car show I go to, I keep driving the green truck, which I love, but I need to do 340, 4-speed, 73 Charger stuff. So let's start picking away at this list and start bolting some of these parts on. I think if we just keep working our way down, eliminating a box at a time, a check mark at a time, this thing will actually start coming together pretty quick. One of the first things I'm going to do, just so I can seal this back up, last night off camera, I glued the gaskets to the valve covers, just so if they ever have to come off, they're stuck to the valve cover and shouldn't hopefully stick to the cylinder heads. I've seen a lot of people do that, and I'm kind of a fan of that process. We have these very expensive ARP valve cover studs. I just wanted something that looks a little bit cleaner, and some of the bolts just don't sit on these cast valve covers very nice. So the fact that these have a nice stud with a washer and the nut, I think they should fit on there well, and I think they also will look pretty nice being they're stainless. Aren't these valve covers just icing on the cake? They got to be one of the best looking things you can do to a Mopar under the hood. Valve covers, mint. ARP fasteners, mint. All right, one of the next things, brake lines. This is something that's not super hard, but just time consuming, and you can see the new stainless one, pretty close to the original. These things come twisted in a box like a pretzel. So I tried to lay it out the best I could to kind of match the original, and which the originals are actually in really nice shape. I probably wouldn't have had to switch them, but here we are. So I'll start with this one. This one goes from the proportioning valve to the back of the car for the rear axle. We have the old front lines there. We have the passenger side front line there, driver side, and then the two that go to the master cylinder. So I'm gonna start with this one first. Probably not gonna film a bunch of it because there's no room under the car. So I'll slab this one in, slam those two in, and keep on trucking. We got our brake lines all in. This one's all tidied up and pretty, hooked up to the proportioning valve. The one for that side, I just kind of got flopped on there. I need to get more coated P-clamps so I can fasten it to the firewall in the right spots. And then I also want to get the calipers on and the soft hoses on so I can kind of final fit it. The main chassis brake line is in and all hooked up. hooked up to the back of the proportion valve. So brake lines are basically done. Not gonna quite check it off the list yet, just due to it's not actually done. So the next thing we're gonna do is the master cylinder, or not. I was talked into this Mopar OE replacement, and our mounting flange is completely different. Tell me how that's supposed to work. So I ordered that years ago, so that probably can't go back. That'll be a shelf decoration. I'll just order, I guess, the factory replacement one for it instead of this one. On to the next thing. Well, since we can't really finish the brake lines without the master cylinder, and I haven't got the calipers yet, might as well leave out the e-brake because that's brake related. Let's go to the rear shocks. What we bought for rear shocks are these Gabriel air shocks. And the reason we bought air shocks is because we're running 10 wides. And with 10 wides, you'd have rubbage. So this is our answer. Let's get these bad boys mounted up. So it's gonna be tight under here, but you can only put these on one way. Smaller end goes up because you're gonna be putting a bolt through that. I think we're gonna, trying to think how I should clock. Like I'm gonna have the fittings going towards the middle of the car. You gotta retract it a little bit. There we go. Huh? Now it's really coming out. Seriously. I think we're stripped out. That's not good. Got the shocks all put in, installed on both sides. Again, there's no room under here. I don't know how much slack I'm gonna need. I left a little slack in that one, and then a lot of people I know normally run the valve stem out like the license plate or the wheel well or in the trunk. I have this weird idea. If I can roll back under here, I ran my lines parallel with my brake line, and I didn't drill a hole yet, but I would like it right as you open the door and right next to the seat. So I don't have the seat in here yet, so we just got them dangling, but that's my plan. And then it'll just be something where you remember to check it a little bit easier, and then you can just kind of get to it pretty easy. So let's air these suckers up and see what they look like. The directions say 25 pounds minimum, 200 pounds max. We're just gonna go to 25 right off the bat. She went up a little bit. Let's go, we'll go to 35. Hell yeah. Obviously it's tough to see with it up on blocks, or on jack stands, but it's actually settled because the jack stands are under the axle. So that's like 43-ish pounds. And I mean, it's got a little bit of give, but it definitely stiffened it up now that there's an actual shock in there. So that's something that we can play with once it's kind of rolling and driving and whatnot. But the biggest thing is to make the tires not rub on the wheel wells. So hopefully I don't have to have it too stiff to keep that from happening. So rear shocks, we can cross off the list. Next little update. I don't know where we left off on this, but I have that brake line fastened to the firewall. This one fastened. Nothing's fastened to the frame yet for the calipers. The calipers are in order. They should be here this week. What the hell is that? Oh, whatever. So once those show up, I can kind of finish up those ends. But we got the new master cylinder here now. Instead of bench bleeding it, I'm going to mount it and then put my little kit on it and then just bench bleed it with the pedal. I feel like that's easier, and then like you're not going to spill and tip over, and yeah. So get this mounted up, and then we can get our little stainless lines ran to that, and then that should be kind of ready for the calipers, and then just keep checking things off the list. Got our little setup all ready to go. Top it off with some fluid. Hopefully the brake pedal works. Hopefully we got bubbles. That should be good, I would think. There she is, all wrapped up. New stainless lines from the master down to the valve. New stainless lines to each side of the front wheels, and then new stainless line all the way back to the rear axle and over the rear axle. Everything's new, everything's clean. Should make the brake system work flawlessly, I'm hoping. All right, another day on the Charger. A lot of things getting done. A lot of stuff getting crossed off the list, but as well as crossing off stuff off the list, we're adding a lot of stuff. But a lot of small things have been done. We have basically the whole underneath of the car is done, minus the front brakes, the calipers, and hooking the lines up. Otherwise, oh, and we have the clutch inspection cover, but that can be, I mean, that's later. Drive shaft is in with new U-joints. Rear axle's done. Rear shocks are done. Linkage rods are hooked back up. Tranny mount is done. What else have we gotten done? Valve covers. Just like, I've been kind of piecing together all the small stuff that I don't want a video, and just been trying to do like the easier things just to get things done and get things rolling. Some of the big things we have left are headers. I'm going to put the carb on, the ignition wiring, and then the main big thing is all the engine bay wiring. Not saying it's hard or like difficult, but it's just going to be time consuming getting it all routed nice, laid out nice, everything plugged in, see what we're missing. I got a good schematic. I got good reference pictures from another small block 73 Charger. So I'll be studying those up a little bit, but that's going to be like kind of the time consuming, and then hopefully everything works as you're plugging it in. But along with that, we also got the cooling system we need to get in, fan. I mean, the list is a mile long. So I'm going to get started with some of the fun stuff tonight. I want to try to get the headers on, get the carb on, and then do the ignition wires, and then start routing some of that engine bay wiring stuff, so I can just kind of thrash on that. That's going to be the big key thing in getting this car to actually start. You need wiring. So let's get to that stuff. Man, I can't even come over here and say I'm picking up some dirty hookers. These things are mint. I almost forgot. We got the Z-bar assembly for the 4-speed. That's probably pretty critical under the car, so maybe we'll throw that in quick. And the rest of the stuff, we got fan, the scatter shield or whatever you want to call it, just some miscellaneous stuff. We'll come back for that. Radiator, sway bar. Still need to get pick up my calipers. Slowly but surely, we are getting there. All right, we got the Bible out here, 73 chassis service manual. Just kind of looking over the diagram for the Z-bar and everything here. This is the one that came with the brewer's kit. It's a little bit more generic, and then a little bit of kind of BEA body, a little bit more, yeah, generic. But looks like we have everything here. From what I can tell, the Z-bar goes in like this. This goes to your clutch pedal rod, and then your adjuster goes to that one. Got your ball stud for your frame on this side. This one goes on your bell housing, your little clips, your linkage spring, which goes right there, and right there. I got the little anti-squeak washers on, and then these eventually go on the ball to hold the Z-bar in. So we need to, you can see right there, the original ball stud's still on there. Might as well put the new one on, right? We'll get that in there. I'm really hoping, oh dang, I should almost test fit the header first. Might be easier to get the header in there with this out. Well, we'll do that off camera because that's probably not gonna be fun, but I guess you'll see. Yeah, headers suck. I gotta pull steering linkages apart. I've had to pull the starter back out. It's probably a good thing we're putting this header in before, yeah. I'll catch up with you when it's on there. Well, let's not do that again. Luckily, these hooker competitions look like they fit. I mean, I don't have it tightened down yet, but it's basically on the head. Looks like they fit around the steering box decent from up here. I haven't crawled under there yet to reroute my tie rod and whatnot, but whew, those suck. And I'm sure these are probably easier than a big block or an A body. But luckily, I mean, this side's all pretty wide open. So crawl under there and get that button back up. We lost a tie rod boot in the process. That sucks, but they make more of those. Get a new one of those, get everything hooked back up, on with the Z-bar. Well, here we are another day and another topic. We have to finish the front brakes, and I finally found the calipers I need. And these are, I was referring to them as the sliding calipers, but I believe these are the floating calipers. And from my research, these 73 cars had two style of calipers, floating and sliding, and it seemed like 9 out of 10 cars have the common style. Mine is the 1 out of 10 and had these. I ended up finding them at O'Reilly's. Hopefully they hold up, hopefully they work, but I didn't want to like convert everything and make it the other style. And as you can see in the 73 service manual here is the floating. I'll get to the right page here. So this is this style, similar to like, I know like my first gen Cummins truck, my D350 has this style caliper. I think that is the common style. And then let's get back to somewhere in here, I swear. Maybe. 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 I just saw it. The floating style, which is what I got. There. Disc brake, floating caliper. So we're gonna get those installed. We'll get the rotors all scrubbed up and clean. They've been sitting bare and open for a while. Hopefully we can get all the brake lines tidied back up and brakes will be done besides bleeding them. Looks right to me. Everything's all greased up and ready to slide. The brake hose will go over there. That looks right. I'm liking it. We got this side all done. Calipers on. Pads are on. Greased up. Soft hose is on. Hard line connected. All we need to do now is bleed the system and this side will be done, but we will assemble the other side first and then the whole brake system is brand new, complete on the car, ready to roll. And the driver's side's done. One little thing I'll have to come back for, the little sliding clips. I don't know where I put them or if they went into orbit when I hammered them off or whatever, but I'll have to get 2 more of those, and then I need to get some larger line clamps so I can clamp that brake line to the frame, but that's all minor stuff. Brakes are all assembled now, just need a bleed. So one of the next things we're gonna do is install this new PowerMaster alternator. Seemed like this was the go-to brand for most people. I didn't want to do a junky reman. I wanted something decent. I chose to go with the dual pulley in case I ever do put AC or something on it. This car had like an aftermarket AC on it, and who knows, maybe we'll get that working again someday. But pretty nice, fancy, shiny, has a warranty. Hopefully you never have to use it. This is the, I want to say, is it a 90 amp? Slightly more amperage, I know, than factory, but so max is 165 at idle. Slightly more than factory. I do want to do a ammeter delete / bypass, or at least the, I think they call it stunt wire, just where you run an extra wire to your starter solenoid just so your gauges and your car isn't taking all the load off the amp or off the alternator. I know that is one big flaw in a Mopar, and it has burnt a lot of cars to the ground. So we will be doing that, but let's just see if we can get this sucker on first. All right, let's hope we can get this geometry right. Looks right to me. see, I don't think I need this extra long bolt that when I bought the engine and stuff, he gave me a couple extra hardware bolts, I think. So I don't think we need that one. All right, coming back in. Well, we're back. This should be a two-part series with how long I'm taking on this thing, but I decided to do a lot of this stuff off camera because I was just taking way too long and this was going to be a 10-hour video of nothing. So, as you can see, it almost looks complete in here. We have a little bit of wiring cleanup to do up there that I want to make sure it runs before I kind of finish it off. I ordered a different set of plug wires because I don't like how with the angled heads on the small blocks, I don't like how those touch, even though they're probably fine. And then with the headers on this side, they are just way too close to the headers. So I ordered different plug wires with sleeves, little heat sleeves, to hopefully save on those, and then we'll route them up all nice. We got a battery sitting in there, nothing hooked up yet. Cooling system's all attached and ready to go. I need to put water in it if it does fire. I'm just going to start with water just in case there's leaks everywhere, and I honestly don't have a lot of faith in that radiator. So we'll start with that. Otherwise, everything I believe is hooked up and ready to see if it starts or if it starts on fire. And let's hope, being a Mopar, hopefully it doesn't start on fire. So let's give it a whirl. I've been waiting for this day for like 3 or 4 years now. All right, let's see. Hey, we got a little dash light. I'm not sure if gauges or anything cycle with the key on. I'm not seeing anything. And neutral, let's see if we have any keyage. Oh, baby. Okay, that's a positive. Let's see. I got a spark tester hooked up. Let's see if we have any spark. We got spark. Time to add some gas. All right, let's see what she does. All right, as you saw, it runs, but it doesn't stay running. And here's our issue. Brand new Carter fuel pump, and it's not doing fuel pump stuff. I checked it with a gauge and it like wiggles like not even half a pound. So picked up another not made in American fuel pump at O'Reilly's because I didn't want to wait, and we'll shove that one in and hope it starts pumping fuel, and then it should stay running. Probably noticed like in the video of it running, or in the clip of it running, the timing's still pretty far off, but I want to just get it to where it's running without babying it and feeding it fuel. Then I'll start messing with that. So we'll get this fuel pump put back in for the second time and give her a shot again. I see my little bypass hoses leaking, but otherwise nothing else on the cooling system looked like it was wet, so that's a huge plus. All right, we got the new fuel pump in, not hooked up yet. Got our push button starter. We're just gonna try it, make sure she's pumping. It's a lot better than 0.5 PSI. I think we're good to go. I told you at the beginning of the video it was gonna run, didn't I? What you didn't know is that this video took a couple months to make, and it took a lot of time and a lot of money to get to where it is, and it's still not done. It's still not ready to hit the road, but it drove to this spot. So I'll show you a couple things on what we did and what's still to come on this car before winter hits. So let's start at the front of the car. We still don't have lights. We have the harness and everything kind of routed, but I haven't taken the time to plug everything in, get the grounds all set up, and try any sort of lights. We're also missing bulbs and a lot of the market lights and stuff. We'll worry about that on a later date. We're charging. That's working good. We're obviously sparking. We're stopping. That's a big plus. We could probably use another bleed all the way around. Now that stuff's kind of moving. My starting wiring up here needs to all get tidied up, cleaned up. That's just kind of up there the way it is to make sure it runs. My spark plug wires, I wasn't loving how the ones that I had bought fit these hooker headers, and my little heat sleeves weren't fitting on them. So these are actually big block Chevy plug wires. As a lot of guys know, big and small block Chevys have the distributor in the same spot, so the wire should be roughly the same. But these are 135-degree offset angle boots, so they just kind of fit and tuck up a little bit better around the headers. I kind of like that. I think they'll work pretty decent on this car. I need to get a new fitting for the vacuum boost, and also a resistor for the wipers. Otherwise, oh, we haven't tried heat yet because we're just looped, so that's something to come. We don't need heat where we're going. I have the access panel plates and then the support bars to put in. We got the shank lug nuts with washers on the front. I might need to do some finagling on the backs. The offset washers just aren't fitting these wheels like they should. Paint body, we're leaving it. We'll just wash it, do a quick little detail, is what it is. I need to put the passenger seat back in. As of now, it's bare floor. We have a couple small holes in the driver's floor to patch before we can put carpet. The back seat is perfect, in a nice shape. Both front seats need to be recovered. Pistol grip. But yeah, so in the next couple videos to come, I need to schedule an alignment for it, because when I rebuilt the K-frame, I just bolted everything together. I didn't try to align it. It obviously drives around the yard fine, but nowhere near close enough for the street. So that'll be the first big thing, and then just kind of do some tuning on the engine, get it to run slightly better, clean up some wiring, clean up some plug wires. The hood, that'll be getting done maybe this fall, otherwise this winter. Don't need that for a test drive. And maybe bleed the brakes a couple more times, and should be able to hit the street with this thing. So, oh, and then exhaust. It's just open headers right now. It is stupid loud. Stupid loud. But I can put earplugs in for a test drive. I think that'd work. But it is great to hear and see this thing move for how long I've owned it, how much I've worked on it. But honestly, it's just lighting the fire more to get it to this point, and then just keep going with it. So if you've stayed this long, thanks for watching. I know it was a long drug out video, but a lot happened from the time I started this video till now. So thanks for supporting the channel. Come back for more. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you next time.